Hello to all Ben 10 fans around the world. I present to you a brand new story created by me, titled Ben 10 Dimension B. A story that takes us into a new dimension of the Ben 10 universe, with never before seen events, new characters, and deeper, more serious themes than ever before. If you enjoy this kind of story, don't forget to subscribe and watch the episode until the very end. I hope you enjoy it. Now, let the adventure begin. Our story begins across the fabric of branching time with the appearance of the time traveler known as Paradox. He steps forward and beholds all of Ben Tennyson's timelines embodied within this vast blue tree. Paradox gazes upon it and says, "There are dimensions whose stories have ended, and dimensions whose stories have already begun. And there is another dimension whose story begins now." He then vanishes from the place through a temporal transition. The story begins with two aliens holding Xylene, forcing her hands behind her back after dragging her out of the torture chamber. They throw her to the ground in front of a completely shadowed figure. The girl is gasping for air, terrified of him. He asks coldly, "Where is the Omnitrix?" Broken by the torture, she manages to say that it is on Earth, and then she loses consciousness. The camera slowly moves closer to the shadow. His form begins to emerge until it becomes clear that he is SeyVEN, Vilgax's deputy. He laughs and says, "Then let us head to Earth." Then we transition to a scene on planet Earth, specifically at a waiting station, where our hero Ben Tennyson is standing, holding a bag containing his clothes. A beautiful girl approaches him, Julie, and it becomes clear that they are classmates from the same school. The girl asks him, "Where are you going, Ben?" He replies, "Now that school has ended, my grandpa called me to spend the summer with him and learn plumbing and some other activities. That's because my parents think I'm a failure and completely useless. They even took away all my sumo games, so I didn't really have any choice but to go with my grandpa." She says to him, "I don't think you're a failure at all. I see you as a kind and intelligent person." Ben smiles and says, "Thank you, Julie. I really need some support and encouragement during this time." She then says, "What do you think about going on a date together sometime?" He replies, "I'd love that. As soon as I finish my work with my grandpa, I'll call you." "Then it's a deal," Julie replies as she leaves the station, leaving Ben waiting for his grandfather. Soon, his grandfather arrives in his well-known vehicle, the Rust Bucket. He steps out of the car, and thus we are reintroduced to the grandfather we all know, Max Tennyson. He greets Ben and says, "Come on, kid, we've got a long summer ahead of us." Ben gets into the vehicle, and they drive off into the horizon, and from there, a new adventure begins unlike anything before. The car drives steadily along a long road, nature stretching out on both sides. Ben, looking out the window, sighing, "Grandpa, what is this trip really about? I mean, are we going to visit a plumbing museum, or are you going to show me how to fix bathroom pipes?" Grandpa Max chuckles calmly. "Haha, no, my boy, this trip isn't just about plumbing." Ben looks at him curiously. "Really? Then what are we going to do?" Grandpa Max, his eyes glowing as he focuses on the road. "We're going to do things people don't do much anymore these days. Hunting trips in the forests, camping nights under the stars, some physical training, and visits to secret places. I want you to learn how to rely on yourself and how to be ready for anything." Ben looks at him cautiously. "That sounds really serious. But wait, does that mean no Wi-Fi and no sumo samurai games?" Grandpa Max glances at him, then smiles. "I heard your parents took your games away, didn't they?" Ben sighs sadly. "Yeah, they said they distract me from real life." Grandpa Max, smiling, "Then how about this deal? If you complete your summer tasks successfully and learn everything I want to teach you, I'll buy you a brand new set of Sumo Samurai games, the rare edition that hasn't even been released in stores yet." Ben, his eyes widen, bursting with joy, shouting, "You're the best, Grandpa! I swear I'll master everything, even if I have to catch a shark with my bare hands." Grandpa Max laughs and says, "That's what I like to hear. Buckle up, hero. The adventure has only just begun." Suddenly, Grandpa slams on the brakes. The camera moves closer to the windshield, revealing a man lying in the middle of the road, groaning in pain. That man is Paradox himself. Ben shouting, "Grandpa, there's someone injured." The two quickly step out of the car and rush toward the man. He barely lifts his head. Grandpa Max supports him from one side, Ben from the other, and together they gently place him in the back seat of the car. Grandpa Max, in a serious tone, speaking to Ben as he drives again. "The first lesson of our journey, my boy, is to never walk past someone who needs help without reaching out." Ben, with admiration and respect, "I understand, Grandpa. That's why we didn't change our route. We're taking him to the hospital." Grandpa Max, "There's a hospital not far from here. We'll get him there." Paradox, weakly, "Thank you both for helping me. Truly, you're like superheroes." Ben laughs. "I've always wanted to be a hero, but sadly, there are no superheroes in our world." Paradox, smiling, "Who knows, maybe one day you'll become a hero to this world. But I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Paradox, and you two are?" Ben and Grandpa Max. "I'm Ben, and I'm Max Tennyson." Paradox, surprised. "Max? That name reminds me of some rumors I heard recently. Rumors about extraterrestrial beings living among us on Earth." Ben turns, quickly, excited. "Aliens? Grandpa, is that true?" Grandpa Max lets out a light, sarcastic chuckle. "Just rumors. People love filling the world with myths. Trust me, there's no such thing as aliens living among us." He then looks at the man in the back seat through the mirror and adds, "And you, my friend, don't fill the boy's head with space fantasies and science fiction." Paradox suddenly straightens up and says, "If they're just myths, then what is that in front of us?" Grandpa Max turns with a look of confusion. Then his pupils suddenly widen. Standing in the road ahead is SeyVEN. In a split second, SeyVEN raises his arm and strikes the air with immense force. A strange energy wave slams into the car, ripping it in half in a horrifying way. The front half crashes violently to the right, flipping over. With Grandpa Max inside, the other half is hurled to the left, carrying Ben and Paradox. Paradox pulls Ben out of the wrecked car and drags him behind the other half of the vehicle. There, beside them, a small, shiny metallic sphere rolls across the ground, as if it had been released from a hidden compartment inside the car during the crash. Ben panting, "What is this sphere? I've never seen it before." He lifts his head and looks past the wreckage. SeyVEN stands tall in the road. Behind him, swarms of drones hover in the air, buzzing with mechanical noise. While Grandpa Max stands firmly in front of the destroyed vehicle, SeyVEN, in a cold, threatening voice, "Where is the Omnitrix? Give it to me, or prepare to die." Grandpa Max does not step back. Slowly, he pulls out a large metal wrench. It looks ordinary until he presses a hidden button. The wrench transforms into a weapon, firing a blue laser beam towards SeyVEN and the drones. Ben, in shock. "What the? Grandpa can do that?" Grandpa Max charges forward with skill, dodging the drone's attacks. He flips, rolls, and fires precise laser shots, taking down the drones one by one as they fall from the sky. "SeyVEN, tell me where the sphere is, and I'll let you die peacefully." Ben's eyes widen as he looks at the sphere beside him. Ben, in a low voice, "It's this. He's looking for it." He suddenly turns, but Paradox is no longer beside him. "Ben, what? Where did he go?" Ben grabs the sphere. It begins to glow in his hands, then suddenly opens like a metallic flower, revealing a strange watch. The device leaps on its own toward his wrist and locks onto it tightly. A green light bursts from the watch, illuminating the area and drawing SeyVEN's attention. SeyVEN stops fighting, staring at the light, shouting, "Finally!" Grandpa Max, shouting as he continues shooting down drones. "Ben, run, now!" Ben gets up and runs toward the forest beside the road. He rushes deep inside, then hides behind a massive tree, breathing heavily. Suddenly, Paradox appears beside him again. Ben turns quickly. "You again? How?" "Paradox, calm as ever. I ran just like you did. But what is that watch on your wrist? And that red button? I wonder what it does." Ben, hesitant. "Should I press it? Or is it some kind of emergency signal?" Paradox. "Nothing happens if you never try." Ben presses the red button. The watch suddenly lights up with an unfamiliar symbol. Then an alien figure appears on the screen. Ben, in amazement. "What is that form?" Without thinking, he selects it. The transformation begins. Flames ignite around his fingertips. His body becomes wrapped in glowing, molten rock, radiating heat from within. His eyes turn into burning embers as he fully transforms into a powerful, fire-based creature. Ben looks at himself in shock and fear. "Ben, what happened to me?" He turns around. Paradox is gone again. Ben shouting, "Not again." Suddenly, SeyVEN strikes him, sending him flying and crashing to the ground. SeyVEN, with a savage grin, "I'm going to enjoy tearing you apart and ripping the Omnitrix from your corpse." SeyVEN fires a red energy sphere from his right hand, hitting Ben and slamming him into the ground. Then he unleashes rapid red energy blasts from each claw, like glowing bullets raining down. Ben runs, dodging the attacks as they pour down like a storm. SeyVEN catches up to him and punches him in the face with brutal force, sending Ben crashing into a tree. He falls to the ground, badly injured. SeyVEN stands over him, laughing, raising his arm high. "At last, I'll claim the Omnitrix and erase the legend of the plumber, Max Tennyson." Ben looks at his hands. Ben thinking to himself, "I have to save Grandpa. I won't fail this time." He stands up, focusing intensely. A sphere of fire forms between his hands. Ben hurls it at SeyVEN, a direct, powerful hit that blasts him backward. Overwhelmed with joy, Ben jumps into the air, raises his fist and shouts, "Ben, I defeated him, and since I can control fire now, from this moment on, I'll call myself Heatblast." The instant he says the name, the watch flashes red, and Ben suddenly reverts to his human form. Grandpa Max appears, covered in dust, his clothes slightly torn, but he's still standing. The last drone falls from the sky. Ben runs toward him. "Grandpa, I beat him. I stopped that alien." Grandpa Max stares at him in shock. "Listen to me, Ben. After what I've seen today, I think it's time I told you about my job, the truth." Before he can finish, SeyVEN rises from the wreckage, laughing hysterically. "So, I'll take it the hard way." He leaps toward his ship, his body vanishing from sight. Ben and Max brace themselves. Suddenly, something massive descends from the sky. A giant mechanical construct slams down in front of Ben and Grandpa, casting an enormous shadow that completely engulfs them. Ben swallows hard. "Grandpa, I think the story about your real job is going to have to wait." Thank you for watching the episode until the very end. Don't forget to subscribe so you can receive episode 2 as soon as it's released. Let me know in the comments. Did you enjoy this series? See you in the next episode.